Crypto Hotep here with another investing video. We are on week 71 of the Family Portfolio and Dividends Tracker. If you're unfamiliar with these videos, feel free to go to my channel, go to week number 1, and that video actually showcases the first video in this whole weekly update. It shows the methodology, what we were thinking, and the overall general idea. So basically, I gave my family a list of stocks that I chose from, and they picked the stocks that most resonated with them or the companies that they're most familiar with. We then proceeded to use M1 Finance to create our big family portfolio, and then with M1 Finance you can have sub portfolios or pies within it. Every one of my family members has a pie of his or her own choosing, and then every week we go through this portfolio. We discuss deposits, balance, news in the markets, how we're feeling, any buys. We really don't sell that much on these with this portfolio because this is strictly investing, and we want to have a long-term vision, but we do basically track our whole investment journey. So if you like these videos, feel free to like, subscribe, comment. It actually helps me out, helps the channel out if you do the like or subscribe, because it helps out the algorithm as well. But by no means is this financial advice. So with that being said, before we go to week 71, we'll go back to week 70 and see where we're at. Week 70, we saw a balance of $2,762.50 with market gain of 1.97% and dividends earned of $15.20. So week 71 brings us to a whopping $2,852.19. So we eclipsed the 2,800 milestone here. So our balance has surpassed $2,800. It has then been boosted up to positive 6.12%. Dividends earned of $16.39 with a market gain of $117.23. Guys, what a drastic difference last week and this week has. Simply amazing. So let's go to our activity here and let's see what's going on. So between this week and last week, only one thing happened, and that is we had a little bit of dividend activity here with Lowe's. We had a little bit dividend activity with about 5 cents or so with Lowe's, and that's about it. Everything else, there was really no activity other than that on the account. Okay, and then one thing that I did want to mention here, if we go to our holdings in M1 Finance, it also, if you go to the dividend income tab, it will show you the paid income for the year, the pending income that's slated to hit very soon, and then your overall estimated income as well. And then it'll give you an average monthly income. So our total income currently is $31.99. If you place your cursor over the bar graph, it'll show you the estimated payouts and who is going to pay out what here, as well as this here, and then you can see your upcoming dividend as well as your ex-dividend date right here. So you can see Apple coming up with ex-dividend date of August 11th with pay date of August 14th. Costco's coming up, fantastic. O's coming up, great. Starbucks, so forth and so on here. Okay. So very good tool. I like this. Another tool within this, within M1 Finance is the benchmark. So our benchmark doesn't look too hot when we try to benchmark our portfolio against, say, VU. That's usually the gold standard. So in 1 second, we'll go to VU or the S&P 500. We'll go to SPY. We'll just do SPY. We'll go to SPY. So currently, SPY year to date is up 8.52%. Ours is up 4.89% with a dividend yield of 1.27%. So this is also a time-weighted return. So it's not a money-weighted rate of return, as in this return, that percentage that we normally use. So that's a little bit different, but it's still a nice piece of information or data that you can use to benchmark how you're doing currently. So as always, guys, let's go bottom to top And if you don't believe it, my wife is no longer at the bottom. So my wife is actually here. So who's at the bottom? Our middle. Our middle is actually at the bottom. Let's go to the stocks here. So our middle has a balance of $351.49 with a money weighted rate of return of 3.3% year to date and dividends earned of $1.56. That's actually not too bad because it has increased over the week. We still are down over 10% in Tesla, and we're still down double digits in Target. However, there's a shining beacon right here with Google up over 30%. Sony, which had fantastic earnings this week, up over 17%. Costco up over 6.5%, and then Amazon up over 4%. So really not a bad turnout as of right now. And let's go to my wife's stocks. In my wife's stocks, we will actually head to Celsius because my wife's biggest holding, which is in Celsius, has or did report earnings for August 6th this week, and they simply blew it out of the water. 0.47 versus a forecasted 0.24 for earnings per share. And then they boosted up their revenue over $739 million on a forecast of 654, just exceeding expectations on both fronts. And this is what it did to my wife's portfolio. So my wife's portfolio, that is not a typo. It's still going up over 27% year to date. The balance is $352.64. She has cracked $350. Dividends earned is $1.30. Market gain is $52.82. Look at that chart. It's fantastic. Celsius, my wife is up over 100% money weighted rate of return year to date on Celsius. Pepsi up over 4%, and now Google picking up steam up over 13%. Tesla's still down, but look at Tesla. We're only down about 3% in Tesla. So when that starts coming back, my wife's portfolio is just gonna keep going up and up and up. Just a fantastic portfolio here, and this is the main reason why our portfolio has just boosted up 5 percentage points in the matter of a week. Let's go to our youngest. Our youngest stocks, or our youngest balance, I should say, is $378.69 with a money weighted rate of return of 4.96% year to date, a market gain of $12.57, and a dividends earned of 97 cents. So not bad here either. Apple is closing the gap. We're closing the gap on Apple. You can see we're only down 4%. We were down double digits in Apple again. Costco up almost 10% with Costco. Sony, again, Sony had fantastic earnings, up over 23% on Sony. Starbucks up over 1% on Starbucks. And then Tesla down now less than 10% on Tesla. We are closing the gap, guys. Okay. And let's go to our oldest. Our oldest balance is $850.36. Money weighted rate of return is still down, unfortunately, down a negative 3.41% year to date. Negative market gain of $29.08. Dividends earned, though, of $3.18. So the culprits, still Apple, even though we're closing the gap, still Apple, and then Tesla's down over double digits. McDonald's is holding its weight, up almost 8% on McDonald's, and then up almost 6% on Costco. And then last but not least, let's go to my stocks. So my stocks, guys, we have a money weighted rate of return of 11.86% year to date. Okay. My balance is $919.01. Market gain of $74.48. Dividends earned of $9.38. So if I benchmark my own portfolio, I'm doing a little bit better than the SPY or VU, i.e. the S&P 500 year to date, which is pretty good. Actually, let's just check it out because it's a time-weighted rate of return and not a money-weighted rate of return. So let's look. Let's do this. Let's take that off and let's just go to SPY. Just go to SPY. And SPY, yep. So if we do some comparison here, slightly above average here against SPY, 8.52%, mine's at 11.53% time weighted return, and then slightly higher dividend yield as well. Okay, so let's see what's going on. It's been a week since I've adjusted my stocks. As we know, we've shrinked my holdings down from 52 or 51 or 52 down to 12. So I only have 12 stocks in these 7 slices right here. So that technology, we're up over 26% in technology. Finance, we are up positive, less than 1% on finance. Industrials and energy is still moving the needle. So Cintas and waste management are my 2 go-tos with that. I can't ask for better stocks here. You can't ask for better stocks in those 2. Okay. Restaurants and food surprisingly is up here. So restaurants and food, we have Coca-Cola and then Domino's Pizza. Coca-Cola is probably the main reason for that as of right now. Domino's Pizza slightly down, over 17% on Domino's Pizza currently, year to date. Okay. And then pharmaceuticals up over 14%. Consumer staples and shopping up less than a percentage point. And then also, Realty actually had earnings this week as well. So money weighted rate of return year to date up almost or up over 7.5% for currently. And as you can see, the reason for this massive jump here is when I adjusted the portfolio, it adjusted the allocations. So with that minusing, I believe I had 3 stocks in real estate down to 1. Got majority of that amount of money in those other 2 stocks. So that's why you see this massive jump right here. Okay. But all in all, just a fantastic portfolio. I'm really happy with my portfolio still. I like having fewer holdings, and it seems to be easier to manage as well. So when I had those 52 stocks, yeah, I had alerts, I had articles and all that, but it was a lot. Now I only have 12. It's easier to manage and easier to get those alerts when certain things are happening with your companies or those stocks that you're investing in. So my thought process is I'm going to keep this balance between 12 and 15 up to 5,000 when we get a 5,000 balance in my portfolio here, not the family portfolio, but mine, dad's stocks. And then after 5,000, between 5 and 10,000, I may look to add maybe five more stocks. And then 25,000 is when I'll probably add maybe 5 more, but I'll stop at owning 20 to 25 stocks, and that's it. I'm not going to own any more other than that. And if I have to sell off some and adjust something, then that's what I'm going to do. But I don't want to hold any more than I would say around 20 to 25 total. So that should be okay. If you look at Warren Buffett's holdings, Warren Buffett has billions upon billions of dollars in stocks, and I legitimately believe he has around only 20 to 30 holdings, if I'm not mistaken. So, it's not all about like over diversifying. It's kind of being centrally focused in looking for those great companies and those companies that you understand what they do for business, how they make money, and if they have a vision for the future. So with that being said, guys, we'll cut it short today. For week 71, we have a balance of $2,852.19. Money weighted rate of return of a positive 6.12%. We had dividends earned of $16.39 with a market gain of $117.23. And as always, guys, if you like this video, feel free to like, subscribe, comment, and thank you, and happy investing.